Democrats are retiring in large numbers, and I got to tell you, I think it's meaningless. It certainly just means other Democrats can run in many of these districts and probably win. And even if Republicans end up replacing them, it's no guarantee we're going to get any of the issues that we want solved, be it inflation, be it COVID, or be it things related to, Epstein evidence, unless people start voting in the primaries, unless people run in the primaries. Otherwise, what do we get? More establishment politicians? Just give more Democrats.
Well, it opens up more opportunities for a big giant red wave. What is a euphemism for the Republicans taking over Congress that doesn't sound like female menstruation?
A red wave.
The red wave.
19
the
Democrats. Flood. But hold on too. Look, 11 Republicans have also retired, and then we got Devin Nunes is resigning.
What do you make of that? Because I have argued oftentimes that Trump has shown very little loyalty to people. What do you make of Devin Nunes? And I love Kash Patel. I love the work that he's done. Devin Nunes did a lot of good work on the Russia thing. What do you make of Devin Nunes being the lead in battling the Russia incident on behalf of Trump in Congress, and then retiring from Congress to take a job with Trump at $1 billion, a corporation?
$2 billion or whatever. Or is it $1 billion?
Yeah, I have no idea, but I'm just euphemism.
I don't know.
What do you make of that?
Nothing.
Nothing. Just normal.
Well, I mean, it's a guy taking a job. It's Devin Nunes, and he's doing what Devin Nunes does. I think it's interesting that he's resigning and he's going to head up this media outlet, whatever, or this media opportunity, social media. But what of it?
Yeah.
What is there to say? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. In my mind, it was actually just an opportunity where it seemed like Trump was showing loyalty to somebody, but I don't know. Sorry, off topic.
Was it? I mean, it's a different. It's Trump's Truth Social or whatever.
Yeah,
partnering up with Rumble. I mean, it's good to see that there's going to be this infrastructure. But
wait, they're partnering with Rumble?
Yeah,
Trump's organization.
Yes.
Is going to partner with
Partner
Rumble.
might not be the exact right word. I don't know. They're organizing with Rumble.
It's a distribution deal.
Interesting.
Trump's media company is going to use Rumble for their distribution. They're doing a distribution deal.
A distribution in the sense of like it's going to be branded Rumble, or it's going to be like an AWS type thing where it's like providing the infrastructure.
The infrastructure will be Rumble's infrastructure for Trump's company.
But it'll all be branded Trump, whatever it's going to be.
I think it'll just be a video player on Truth Social. It's not going to say Trump anything. Like when you go on Twitter, the video player doesn't say Twitter on it.
Right.
So Truth Media is going to need videos, and they're going to use Rumble to do it. So that's partnering for the video side of things.
That's a lot to process.
It's huge. It's huge. It's competition. Now, I've been saying for a while that Republicans got no ground game, and I still think that's true. But this is important. So I guess I can say to your point about Devin Nunes, in the face of what's happening with the Democratic Party, I think they're running scared because they know a red wave is coming. Devin Nunes joining this media venture. There was a news article that said it shows you where the true seat of power lies, or something like that. And I'm like, yeah. Who disagrees with that? The media is more powerful than a politician. Many of these politicians, including Republicans, care more about the opinion of the New York Times than they do their own constituents. So Nunes goes to Truth Social, seeking to build influence and counter Silicon Valley, and Rumble and Trump are doing this because they realized they got no ground game. Going out waving little American flags saying, vote for me ain't going to cut it. You need to create and spread culture and ideas. I'm surprised it took them this long to figure it out.
They still really haven't figured it out.
Yeah, I know. They absolutely haven't figured it out.
Their server is going to shut them down. The ISP is going to block them. Get ready, guys.
Or like you said, Vanguard, State Street, and BlackRock are going to buy up public shares of it and be like,
Rumble and then ban Trump off the platform.
And they're going to get voting shares. And a lot of people said, yeah, well, Rumble hasn't given up voting majority. I'm like, that doesn't mean anything. It's frustrating because.
Wait, hold on. Let me read this right here. It says stocks of special purpose acquisition company CF Acquisition Corp. That's the thing that locals merged into Rumbles merged into this publicly traded company. Says that it will now count Trump as a member on the platform. That's a little bit different than saying.
What source are you looking at?
That's Yahoo.com.
What we had a source on this the other day, and it said they were partnering for distribution.
Interesting.
Truth Social. Maybe it was wrong.
I remember reading what you were talking about, Tim.
Yeah, we were talking about
a service agreement. Rumble has entered into a service agreement with Trump's Truth.social. This is
RSBN says Rumble and Trump's Truth social media platform strike major distribution deal.
Yeah.
So I use RSBN because they're very much in the Trump side of things.
Right.
Howard Lutnick, the CEO of Rumble's parent company of Cantor Fitzgerald, announced Monday a groundbreaking deal with Trump's new platform, Truth Social. Lutnick stated in an interview, Truth and the president are going to use Rumble's infrastructure, technology, their cloud distribution capability. So they're going to be a service provider, a tech provider to the president's Truth Social.
In the sense that AWS provides these kind of services to other companies as well.
That's
what Dave was telling me that Rumble's plan was to become AWS in that sense.
Do you know how long it was from local selling to Rumble selling to effectively selling to Cantor Fitzgerald?
About 36 minutes.
36 days.
Yeah.
Which means Dave likely knew what was happening. And I suppose you can argue that it's all a good thing. And I'll tell you this, upon learning about the institutional investor getting in, I have some worries. Because like we were just mentioning, now that they're public, the bad actors can find a way, they can buy their way in and keep buying their way in. And it doesn't matter if you have majority shares or not. People don't understand how this stuff works. There's things called hostile takeovers. But seeing this massive infrastructure now starting to emerge, I'm like, I'll take what I can get, man. If this is countering the official like Silicon Valley oligopoly, this is better than
maybe.
Nothing.
I think of it as like if you're a farmer in Poland and then the Russians are coming from the east to across your land. Maybe they're going to destroy your farm. Maybe they're not. But now if another army springs up and they're like, we're going to counter and defeat the Russians. This is Rumble. And they come from the west. Now you have the Germans and the Russians meeting at your farm. Everything gets annihilated.
Yeah, no, but that's not necessarily true because what's going to happen here is they're both going to be colliding in the field, turning to you and say, join us, sign up for my platform. No, sign up for my platform. And you're going to be like, who's going to offer me the better deal?
Yeah. Ian, historically, Russia and Germany teamed up and invaded at the same time against Poland and my people. So I think
you're people of color.
That's probably why
damn right.
This metaphor.
Recognize.
But in this metaphor, the armies can get bought up by other armies. And
I see a lot of good here. I see a lot of good here with what's going on with Rumble and all this stuff. Because now there's institutional power in opposition to the oligopoly of woke leftism.
It is a very veneer of power. It seems like power. It feels like power. But in a moment, that switch can be flipped and it can be gone.
And I think that's
company
extremely
being
likely.
sold.
It's beyond the company being sold. I think I'm not going to trust centralized media companies, like social media companies. Truth Social and all these places have the right to ban you the same as every single other platform. People have pointed out the terms on Trump's website are not too dissimilar to other websites. The difference is, will the ideology of Truth Social be beneficial to you versus Twitter's crackpot ideology? Yeah, for all of us here, we'd probably be better off on Truth Social. However, they'll ban Antifa left and right. And probably right, and rightly so, because they're violent and they advocate for violence. But are they going to end up being biased in favor of the right? I would not be surprised if that was the case. Will it be as bad as the left? No, because the right tends to be, in my opinion, more principled to their own detriment.
We're going to see that again in that Axios thing we're going to talk about.
It's creepy stuff, though. But look. I was really hard on Rumble and locals and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and that was because we didn't see the full plan. I'll put it this way. When Locals was, first of all, I'm not a fan of Patreon or any of these platforms, Locals included, because they're centralized. People should have their own platforms. It should be decentralized network tech so they all can come together. It's not hard to do. And that's what we should be striving for, in my opinion, so that no one can be banned. But if you're going to provide a service like, Dave Rubin did, I've got no qualms about that. I just feel like it's not advancing us. Then when they sell to Rumble, I'm like, that seems like exploitation. That seemed like rallying a bunch of contracts, selling it off to a company. Then we see the SPAC deal where now it's basically going public, and I'm still not a fan of that. However, upon seeing this massive growing infrastructure, I'm happy to see it emerging because at least it's countering the other side. That doesn't mean it's a good thing. It doesn't mean people aren't going to be exploited. It doesn't mean bad actors won't eventually find their way in. It just means I will take an alternative. A strong alternative with good infrastructure is a net positive, and it would be hypocritical of me to say it was a bad thing because I'm constantly saying, why aren't people doing this? Why aren't they challenging this and countering it? So that's great. However, I think the solution in the long run is decentralized social media.
Yeah, there's incremental steps to take. There's long-term steps to make. With the liminal order, we're always constantly looking at different communications options. And one of the strategic challenges I'm faced with as a business owner, as the leader of this network, over 800 guys now, is do we take a step that is like one step forward, 2 steps forward, or do we wait for that thing that's like going to be 20 steps forward? And the reason why at this point we have taken the time to we're being very patient to not take 2 steps forward is because if you're familiar with the book Who Moved My Cheese, this is a management book about like moving the cheese just ruins everything for everybody. Like if you change, people can't handle change. And so if we're going to go through the process of change, and we've talked about this before of like moving from one platform to the other, from Patreon to Subscribestar or whatever, if you're going to do that, it better be for something that is an absolute slam dunk grand slam that is 20 steps into the future that's going to last 5 to 10 years. That's not just like an incremental baby step. And perhaps it feels as though that locals in this Rumble thing is like baby steps, not the quantum leap that perhaps you guys are working on. And so it's both of them are important though, because there's new people entering into the market today that are going to want to take T+2 that aren't us sitting here at T waiting for T+10.
Rumble,
you know what I'm saying?
Rumble should take the money they get from the SPAC and start subsidizing all of their creators. That way people can say, well, I could be on YouTube, but Rumble pays comparably, so why don't I just go there? The challenge right now is it kind of does, but the views aren't there, which means Rumble's got to subsidize that and say, if you make a video on YouTube that pays $100, you make the same video on Rumble, you get paid the same amount. Incentivize people.
Even with like a tenth of the views.
Right.
Yeah.
Or we'll pay you more. Just be like, how about this? Like they've already done it with several key people, like, you know, Siraj Hashmi and Glenn Greenwald. Yeah. They need to do a lot more of that.
Russell Brand.
They got Russell Brand. They signed him.
Didn't he sign with locals?
I don't know. Familiar.
With locals.
Sure.
Did I miss that?
I don't know if that's Rumble though.
Yeah, Rumble.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying
Rumble.
it doesn't mean that Russell Brand is putting his podcast on Rumble. He's on YouTube.
Right. I see what you're saying.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to watch live, you can check out this channel Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Now, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and if you want more unfiltered and uncensored content with all of these guests, go to timcast.com and become a member. All of these guests you know and love in exclusive segments on our website where we are unrestricted in what we talk about, so you'll definitely not want to miss it. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all next time.